Welcome to the Daily Batman channel. I'm Alex, your drawing, sketching host. This is a big day because we're adding a bunch of new content to the channel, and this is the first time you're hearing my voice. I've been in the background a lot with mostly time-lapse videos and more music, but we're going to mix things up a little bit. This channel is a bit of a window into my inner geek where I'll be drawing superheroes, I'll be talking about comics, movies, TV shows, collectibles, and probably some video games as well too. So I thought the best way to kick this off to walk through a Batman tutorial with everyone, as Batman is my favorite character and an inspiration for the name of the channel. So let's get started. The sketch we're working on here will be a Batman sketch, and it's just going to be the head and the top of the shoulders with a bit of emblem showing below. So the head is going to be the focal point of the drawing here, and this starts with this basic circle with the reference lines to the facial features, and this kind of divides stuff like the brows, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. I'm going to speed by this part, but if anyone's interested in doing a more detailed video about head drawings and different perspectives and stuff like that, I'm open to that as well. For the most part, the biggest challenge is to keep things symmetrical and proportional. And I think this is probably the most basic obstacles amateur artists like myself try to overcome. Right? And that's really the hardest thing to do. And with more practice, this gets easier and easier. Less lines, less guidelines and stuff like that. But no one's faces are perfectly symmetrical, right? So it's okay, and we can have that. We can kind of deviate here as well too. And the best thing about this is that we're drawing Batman. Batman's wearing a mask, right? So there's a lot of details there. This is a perfect sketch for beginners like myself. Um, you don't see that many details. And if you like what you see on the video and you want to interact with the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It would be much appreciated. And if you turn on the notifications, then you'll be notified when new videos are coming out as well too. The sketch we're working on here will be Batman looking straight forward, looking right at you. And we're going to place the light source behind his head. So the majority of his shadows will be in the center of his face, and probably around the chest area as well too. And the light will be shining on his body. You'll see mostly on the top of his head and probably the side of his shoulders mostly. And what's cool is that the best part about drawing Batman is that a lot of the character is in the shadows or sometimes covered by his cape. Sometimes you just see his eyes peering out of darkness as well too, right? Have you ever heard the name Mark Simpson? He goes by the name of Jock. He's a British artist, a British Batman artist, and I swear everything he draws is just shadows and eyes. It's ink everywhere. Like you should, and it still looks fantastic. I think there's a video out there, probably on Twitter or something like that, maybe YouTube, of Jock painting an entire page black. Like he has this big brush, and he's just painting everything black. And then I think the text, or he's just saying, he's earning his per page pay by making the entire page black. And I was like, that's pretty awesome, man. So it goes to show, you can draw Batman in a lot of ways by using shadows. So what we're doing here, we're building the face structure. I'm kind of going through the eyes and the mouth. So Batman's never happy. He's always Mr. Grumpy. He's always going to have a frown. So that's a good part, right? And he doesn't have much of an upper lip, I guess, in this style here. Um, and you're kind of you kind of want to build the structure of the lower lip and his chin with shadows, right? You want to go ahead and kind of shade a little bit, and it kind of creates that depth, kind of creates that 3D look and appeal. Um, and over here, we're gonna just kind of straighten things out a little bit. A lot of times when you're doing your early sketches, things might not line up properly. You gotta bust out the ruler. Ruler is like your best friend, right? In this case here, the ruler definitely is my best friend. I always kind of misalign the ears in the here and there. You like the amount of spacing between the eyes, the spacing from like the nose out, and the head's crooked and stuff like that. And all the best artists use it too. Like I've seen Jim Lee use a ruler tons of times on his stream. Um, and the ruler's my best friend too, right? So kind of keep that handy on the side. So just rounding out the mouth area here, making sure the chin is all nice and proportional, and making sure the lips are there as well too. Just kind of going through and kind of adding the shadow, adding some depth to the lower lip. And as you can see, the most of my inspiration from my Batman drawings that you see on Instagram is usually through Jim Lee. I really should just have a stamp that says after Jim Lee, after everything I draw. But he does fantastic work. Stuff he's done X-Men. If you haven't seen his work on X-Men, you gotta check it out. Stuff he's done Wildcats as well too. And of course now he's with DC in terms of being the creative director. But a lot of the stuff he's done, it's the best, man. Greg Capullo's fantastic as well too. David Finch is great. Jason Fabok is a great Canadian artist, great Canadian Batman artist. I always like looking at his stuff as well too. And his Batman is really awesome. I think it's a lot pretty mean looking, which is kind of what we all imagine Batman to be. Um, in this sketch here, I'm just kind of rounding out the bottom here in terms of his neck muscles, in terms of like building out the shadows towards the collarbone. Because right here, like everything in terms of shadows, it's gonna be covered up. You're not gonna see too much here. His muscles will be kind of catching a little bit of light, but just getting ready to go in terms of like getting things all lined up. And you're gonna see a bit of light source or a bit of a reflection on his collarbone. Your collarbone kind of sticks out from your body, and you're gonna see a bit of light kind of refract upon there. And then after underneath the collarbone, it's gonna be all shadows again, right? If you guys are Batman fans, let me know who your favorite artists are, and we can compare notes. Jim Lee's still the best, though. Well, either way, it's a great time to be a Batman fan. With all the news coming out in regards to like movies and TV shows, or like, there's so many things happening right now. Robert Pattinson Batman, like that's gonna be pretty crazy. HBO has Batman TV shows that are kind of revolve around the same world as well too, so that's gonna be crazy. HBO is amazing, so you know that's gonna be nuts. Michael Keaton is back, so I'm not sure if you guys didn't hear that yet, but Michael Keaton is back as Batman, as an older Batman. He's gonna be in Flashpoint with the Flash stuff, and then he's gonna be in Batman Beyond too, right? So that's gonna be nuts in terms of what's gonna happen there, and that kind of takes place in like the Tim Burton world and stuff like that, different Earths and stuff like that. That's gonna be pretty crazy. Batman's gonna be in the Justice League with the Schneider cut as well too, so that's gonna be pretty cool to see him kind of see Batman out there too. Even though it's Ben Affleck, kind of happy that Ben Affleck is retiring as Batman. Like that guy can't be Batman. So happy about that as well too. But just overall, it's a great time to be a Batman fan. So here we go. We're gonna break out the graphical pencil here with the zero point 0.5 lead, just look for more finer details in the sketch. As you can see, like we're kind of going back over the lines. I'm gonna take the eraser and do some quick erase over the sketch as well too, and just come back with a darker lead and kind of making sure, putting some final touches on the pencil work here. Um, Ruler's handy. I have multiple rulers. I got the small one there too. That one kind of fit my pencil case, but that one had more measurements, kind of making sure things are symmetrical again. Um, and just kind of going through the lines again, right? So like the prelim sketch kind of lets you know the basic shapes and where things are, and then just kind of going through and doing some rendering as well too with the darker lead. Um, the lining up of the eyes and brows and nose, um, that's kind of the biggest part here. For all the Batman drawings I've done, this is probably the most fundamental piece of advice. You want to make sure the eyes are properly spaced apart from each other and lined up, but also not touching the top of the brow always as well too, right? Because you want to have the brow kind of separate from the eyes a little bit. It could be just a little finer details there, but the brow will cast a shadow over the eyes too, right? Um, and just the cowl line, right? You want to make sure that the nose lines up properly. Sometimes it's easy to have Batman have a larger nose. In most cases, you want to kind of be consistent here and just kind of draw over the nose, right? So if you're going back to the fundamentals in regards to drawing of faces, you don't want the nose too low and stuff like that. And the cowl kind of just hangs just over it, right? And then once you do that, the nose piece and the cowl, it kind of creates its own little shadow as well too, right? So that kind of goes over the mouth, and you kind of create your reference there to kind of when to see when the lips start coming out, and where you draw that, and relative to the lower lip, and then obviously the chin. So all the reference lines are great in terms of just beginning. I still do them as well too. Different perspectives still really tricky for me, so I definitely will have to draw the circles and the bars and stuff like that to make sure things are proportional and just facing the right direction. But yeah, just keep working on it. Every video I see in terms of drawing, everyone says, just keep drawing and drawing and drawing, and you won't need as many reference points going in the future. It's just gonna be second nature. So just rounding out the face here, drawing some shadows over the eyes. And again, like the light source is behind the head, right? So you want to make sure that everything in front has a nice shadow, and and the best part about this is that we're creating the shadows right in the center, right? So sometimes it's tricky depending on like the moonlight's on the right or left, and where's the shadows coming from, which side's gonna be dark. In this case here, it's just gonna be pretty symmetrical. Um, and just rounding out the chin, right? So adding in some more details here, you can kind of see that the darker colors, so the darker shading, it's just gonna create the bottom lip, and I'm kind of creating that shape here. I'm creating the chin, and like the whole idea here is that like it's gonna make the lower lip pop, right? Because the lower lip's gonna catch a bit more light, and he's frowning pretty hard too, right? So you want to make sure that's kind of sitting there. Um, and then from here, the shadows are going across the cowl, going across the chin a little bit. Obviously, it's going to catch a bit more on the fabric, so kind of darker there. Some nice lines on top as well too. So kind of the lines between the nose and the mouth. Doing some extra lines here. And what I've learned here too is that if you're doing your lines with the curve of the shading with the curve of the chins and curve of just the areas, like maybe his head as well too, doing the shading with the curves, it makes a big difference with your cross shading and stuff like that too. So whenever you can, kind of go in the same groove and same direction. Doing over here, we're doing the ears, kind of lining up the the trap muscles, trapezoids, and kind of going through these rounding out and adding in some more details around the neck, right? The Adam's apple, kind of darkening the areas here. And just kind of creating that shadow, because the chin creates a shadow. It's kind of looking over it, a bit darker than the rest. And you're kind of creating that neck muscle there. It's a big neck muscle. Ben has a big neck, so kind of making sure he has a nice shade there too, kind of creating the muscles. And over here, we're adding in a little bit more shadows between like the bunches of material he has between the neck and his collarbone. Now, the one trick there on the left-hand side, you kind of see it always looks like a lady's heel. A lot of Jim Lee drawings have that too. I'm trying to mimic that a little bit, but you can kind of see that it kind of just you can't really go wrong, right? Because this is just bunching it with material, and the shadows are catching it, right? And like I said before, light source is behind, so right now everything is just gonna be shadow right in front. So it's gonna be collarbone catching the light, and everything below that it's gonna be back in shadows, right? I'm just adding some more shading here, more rendering. Gonna go through the bat emblem, and there's so many bat emblems to choose from, right? Like, I think I like the Christopher Nolan movie emblem the best, and also the Jim Lee Hush emblem as well too. You can have a whole show just talking about Batman logos, really. But we're finishing up the Batman sketch here. Just remind everyone, we do have a contest going on for free artwork and free action figures on Instagram. I'll leave the link below. I really want to do more giveaways in the future. This has been super fun. I totally see how people kind of ramble as they draw, especially if you're talking about Batman. You can talk for hours. Again, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content, and if you want to make any drawing requests, be happy to hear from you. But other than that, stay safe out there. Daily Batman out.